My civic action project with Allison Tanaka, David Hom, and Danny Nevis was about the opioid crisis in Sacramento. When we first started off and coming up with a proposal, we decided that we were going to target the Mid-East, like states such as Ohio. But then afterwards, when we found out that the civic action project was real and we actually had to, do real civic actions, we decided that we were going to shift our focus from the Mid-East to Sacramento because that seemed more achievable. Our first proposal, we wanted to have more force by the police, more regulations on pharmaceutical companies, and more regulations on over-the-counter drugs. My first civic action with Allison Tanaka, we decided that we were going to email police officers from the Sacramento Police Department and ask them questions about the opioid crisis and what it was like here in Sacramento. I emailed Officer Cabrera, who works with the Kennedy SPD program, and Allison emailed Sergeant Stinson. Officer Cabrera emailed me back telling me that she couldn't answer my questions, but she said she gave me a contact. It was Officer Justin Boyd from the Impact team in downtown, and the same thing happened to Allison, so we decided to just email Officer Justin Boyd together, and she sent him the email, and he had no reply, and then I decided to send him another email, and there was no reply, so our first civic action was not a success. And I personally learned that, it's better to start off small, and I decided that it was better if I targeted my local community and knowing what the students around me knew. So for my next civic action, the group and I decided that we're going to do a survey to find out how much our school and our peers knew about the opioid crisis. Some problems with that was our survey was done at the last minute. We did it the day before the due date, so I felt like the data we gathered was a little inaccurate, and we didn't gather enough data that we could have gathered more. Some successes about that was we worked together, we came up with the questions together, and we all assembled the survey together. I started refining my proposal more because when I got my thinking it through back, I had comments that said it was too vague in certain areas, so I decided to refine it and make it a little less vague. For my last civic action, it's the one I enjoyed the most. The group and I decided to make a brochure, and it was easy to make because our second civic action was the outline for our brochure. So from the information that we gathered from the survey, like the stuff that the students didn't know or that we saw the data was low, we decided that we were going to answer those questions in our brochure. So in our brochure, we answered questions from the survey. We added information about the opioid crisis in Sacramento, about the opioid crisis in California, and how it was a nationwide problem. We each split up the parts, split up the answers, and did our research. And then they all sent it to me, and I put it together in the brochure along with my research. I enjoyed making the brochure because I kind of like designing it. Overall, the Civic Action Project was it was fine. I learned that it's easier to have civic actions that tie in with each other, and because then it just makes the next one easier. I found it hard to sometimes I wanted to get something done before the due date or start ahead of time, but due to other school projects or sometimes the lack of communication, stuff was left at the last minute. I also learned this was one of the first projects one of the first things I've ever done that helped my political efficacy, which I learned in AP Gov. I didn't have much of it before, but now I did, and I know that doing simple actions like making a brochure or emailing my local police officers or representatives can make a change. And yeah, thank you.